One of your miners here needs calibrating, specifically an iron one.
Oh, yeah, I had made it around to the ones up there.
Yeah, because you've got one of the miners not running, I had to disconnect it from the screen, otherwise it was throwing errors, so...
Okay. Yeah, there's usually like one miner platform is not running. If I was smart, I'd probably just pick them up.
Yeah, well...
Alright, I think we're back live. See how that works. I think we're still dropping frames this morning. Alright, finish doing this. Collect the rest of my rocks around. Pete's putting in a cool program for it. I'll actually tell us. Because the problem is I'm calibrating miners too early. And I'm running out of calibration. So I need to start only calibrating miners like every 3 days. I think with I currently have 6, 7, 8 miners or 8 sets, and usually so I have 40 to probably 44 miners, I think. Some of the problem is I don't have the accounts I have don't have their maxed out generation skills. I'm starting to work on that too. There's just too many. You just need too many skills.
Okay. Dropping boards into my backpack.
And that's probably the biggest problem, especially as a new player, is trying to figure out what skills you want to do. Because there's so many that like everybody needs. If you're doing anything at all with mining, you need to have the. You just need to decide whether you want the end use maxed out or if you want, if you want to be able to pick up decent amounts of rocks. Oh. All right, so get going here. I'm pulling up my this. All right, that's press. Funny thing, disconnect stuff from the internet gets mad at you. So this will basically tell me that, like, the hematite here needs to be done. Is this taken into account, like, what their actual, how much ore they're getting to and everything?
I mean, it seems to be accurate so far. Like, so far I've seen nothing wrong with its math, so... Not that I haven't paid that much attention. But from what I can tell, it works on the same basis of of calculations that I did, and I can't fault it. So I don't know if that answers your question.
Oh no, I was
But
wondering if it was actually doing the calculation to say that you need to calibrate. Like if I only have 30% calibration needed, does it not start counting down until it's below 30%?
oh, so if you only need 30% calibration, then it scales the amount of time required until you need to calibrate up. So, like, instead of saying 3 days to calibration, it might say there's 6 days. So, yeah, it takes that into account. Number 9, 1, 2, 3, 4. Set on the board. I have one more of these to set up. But yeah, because the things are DRM, I just didn't want to deal with.
That's not.
So, yeah, you got a really terribly mounted display.
All right, so let me run over here, do my finished calibration. Then we'll run back and see if we can get some. Start better. Over calibrate. I may end up breaking down and just going to buy hematite off the open market. I am such in need of hematite right now.
Have you taken a territory scanner to scan?
Oh, that's actually what I need to do is take the territory scanner over and do that. But I probably won't do that on stream.
Yeah,
I
because
may
that's
just take.
boring. So,
Well, yeah, it's slow, and
alright.
so I have 4% iron now. It's probably
I
or
haven't. I've installed mining unit monitors on all
thing you see
units.
as I throw stuff in it, it starts refining it. This factory will start slowly coming back to weak. All right, let's go out here and look at this. All right, so Kaniso made this ship over here. I'm doing bad things to it right now because I'm trying to get the ship to fly. Uh, so if I go in here and so this tells me basically how many elements I have in it, how much honeycomb is in it, how much the mass is currently, right? And that's all really important information to have. This tells me what my max atmospheric thrust is. So right now I have zero 0.9 G's of atmospheric thrust. I have 5 G's of braking force. I have 1.5 G's of low and high altitude lift. So my thrust right now, I need more thrust. Um. So and the reason I've done this is this here acts as the inertial matrix, right? So my inertia matrix, it could be better, but it's not bad. So what I've done is for some reason, when you load those cargo boxes on here, it doesn't really register them correctly. Like it says that you have the weight, but it doesn't say that it's affecting your numbers. It affects your ship. Like when you go to fly it, you go to take off, you go to do things. Like it affects it. Like and it acts like the numbers are updated, but it doesn't display updated numbers. So it's hard to know what it's doing. So what I've done is I took those containers off. I loaded. So these are extra large containers. So extra large container holds about two large containers. So I just basically stuck extra large containers on here, and I filled this bottom completely full. So I have 7.5 kilotons at the bottom here. Um, and then the weight of these, because these things actually have a weight also. So the unit or unit mass is 44 tons of these. So I have 14 of them. So that's another, half a kiloton just of boxes. So we're pushing, 8 kilotons of weight on that I've just added to that ship. It's very important, especially when you're building a ship, to do that. Now, there's two ways for me to kind of improve this. I'm running into some issues. Like if I could get these things to fire correctly, I'd probably have better thrust. But for some reason, they don't want to fire when I accelerate. They only want to fire in cruise mode, and I don't understand why. I can't find a reason for them to do that other than that I've angled them down. So I've been trying to toy with other ways to angle them or trying to figure out some way to get them to miss this back pod. It's not working right now. So the other option is for me to improve the engines I have. So some of these engines up here, these are just uncommon militaries. That's an uncommon military, and these are advanced military. So if I could find like rare military atmospheric large, right? They're 1.5 million a piece. So I wouldn't need a lot of them, just like 12, like 30 of them, easy. So, just $45 million in rare engines on there. I think I might have to start building rare engines. Um, so the other option is to put more of them on it. So either I can go over to that one and just keep adding pods and eventually it will work. But the problem with that too is then every time I add pods, I need to add more things. So I need more and more and more things to be able to get lift, and then I'm running out of places to put boosters on the bottom. So I was like, you know what? Paniso has a good idea, and I love doing bad things to his ship. But I started making my own pods. So these are a bit different. They're kind of a similar idea, but instead of being flat on the front, because Panisos are flat on the front, and I do like that look. I have made mine round. So I've put curves on mine to make them more rounded. I like I don't know. I just don't think a spaceship should have a flat surface on it. In an actual spaceship, it doesn't really matter. Like in space, like there's no wind resistance and stuff. And I don't think it actually affects the wind resistance down here. I don't think this is any more aerodynamic than that is. This just makes me happier. The other thing I did is I built this bad boy here. So this will have basically be the back pod. So that I have 2 space engines, and then we have just a few engines there. So that being said, the next trick we have is to start putting these things in position, because I kind of built it in the center because I didn't know where I was going to where I needed it to be at. Yeah. So the problem is these pods are so large that I can't copy them in a single go, which is going to cause me problems. Because the problem is I don't know where that line is. Um, yeah, because the issue is that I'm gonna run into is trying to make sure that I grab places that I can use to line up. So like that, I could probably get away with that. If I do this over here. So this was a failed experiment. What I was trying to do is start over. Um, so you can see this one comes up and it's kind of flat on the side here, and it starts this curve out from here and coming into the center. And there's still some. There's still a little bit of smoothing that could be done. So what I'm trying to do is trying to get that transition to be, to make it look like it's a curve, right? And we're looking for a compound curve. So originally, like this one here, you can see that this curve here is a lot larger. So this curve matches this curve here, right? So I was trying to go to a much larger curve here. I eventually went to a much smaller curve, and that the smaller curve allowed me to make that transition a lot smaller and allowed me to make it manageable. So it still kind of curves, and I'm trying to not put any straight lines on this thing. I don't want any straight lines. I want it to all be like wiggly and curvy and the way a spaceship should. So unfortunately, this was a failed experiment. Did not. That bad boy. Then So the way you get this thing to work is that you basically go up here. That would do it. Won't have plastic on me. So then what you do here is to do this. And you can see inside, those are where I was basically trying to get the curve to work. So if I push this all the way to there, I want to leave myself a little bit of room. I don't want to bump it up completely against the wall. I want to put that there like that. Now let's see if I can actually get enough of this too. That's right there. Or that. A little bit too far. That's so what I'm gonna do here, once I get it lined up. And I wanted to bring that stuff with a curve in. Because I could bring the stuff with a curve in. I can put it in and get it to line up correctly. And I can recreate. If I was smart, what I would do is I would go inside of it, build a build or points that's, be able to do the inside of it. Oh, actually, that copied the entire back. All right. And the same thing here. So I can go down and look and see that obviously that's too high up. You see that like that might be. So I have to make sure the next time I copy that, I come forward a little bit, make it easier. And then once I do that, I can go here. Clean up some of. And actually, most of the that are on the inside are located here. Start getting rid of too many. I could probably get away with getting rid of a lot of the stuff from out here. Uh, and like probably be okay. But you start getting rid of too much of the like the stuff that is used to make the corner, and you start running into some issues where it starts destroying blocks on the other side. I'm just trying to take out some of the extra voxels that'll be. That I not that this is gonna add or remove a lot of. All right, so that's fine. All right, so that thing is in there now, and be able to put back into eventually.
Did you notice the chat message about 5 minutes ago?
No, I did not. I was lost in building the stuff. Hey, Kanisha, don't worry about it. Thanks for coming in to say hi, buddy. And, yeah.
Yeah, I may have also messaged you on Discord just a little bit.
I saw that one. I don't know exactly what you're upset about in that, but I understand. I understand. I am going for it.
I'm assuming that's sarcasm.
My ship's going off. I know I just didn't blow the picture up, so I'm not sure.
Okay, I've written a text explanation.
Yeah. I got a larger spot over there. You need more build volume. I don't understand. Other than just completely lagging the damn server out. Why I can't grab half the blocks at a space station, copy them. It's difficult to get stuff flying back up. This is when I find out that plates that I've already copied, it's too big for me to copy. Then I figured out that my ship was turned the wrong way before I built more of it.
That's probably a good thing.
Could have been I could have been table flipping, inducing rage ball. I don't know. Oh, good. So there are two different heights. That's helpful. Here's a way. That's at 21.5.
Right, I need to change up my alarms.
8.5.
Because that one can be deleted. And that one can be deleted. I get to get rid of these random alarms at random arbitrary times of the day, yeah.
Oh, good. So I am definitely trying to learn this building system. There's the massive pitfalls, obviously, that can be had. What are you barking at?
Dog walks at everything.
Yeah, Mika is definitely a porker. Oh, looks like it's looks like there's a storm blowing in.
Ah, yes, that'll make a dog walk. Very much make a dog walk.
This thing's back. That. The important part is to get the things where
Alright, let's try this again. This time without screwing up the cut and paste.
That's all we get. I will eventually get it. So that's all good. I jacked up the front nose a little bit, but luckily I have a copy of it over here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go here, grab there, there, here, here. We'll just copy that. And once I put all that and get it lined up, hold down some shift the edge. Look at that. Now we got a copy. And that should be it. Fine. Yeah, so at least now they're at the same height. Right? So that's good. Okay. We're right. That's where this they should be the same height, same distance forward and back. They should be the same distance. They should be 2 squares in. It's on there, it's out there. Back here. There. Oh, I'm holding it. Okay. So I learned a new trick.
Hmm?
here I have a box, right?
Yeah.
If I hold down Shift and use the arrows, it extends a single face.
Mm-hmm.
So that works. All right. So now, the question is, do I feel like I need a third? All the all this all the engines. And if I do feel like I need a third one needs to actually fit.
Yeah, chat plum.
So, how you doing, buddy? What's that beeping at me? Probably because I restarted my modem in the process in the middle of it, made it bad. That is not what I wanted to do. Why is it doing that?
Hey, Okinisa.
Very good. Now it's beeping. I had to restart my bot.
It's a day. Damn it, I hit the wrong button. I wish the build system would stop doing that. Where you place something and you hit enter, and it immediately snaps back to where it was, for no reason. And you go back and you make the same move again, and it's fine. Just fun beta bug.
0.7 G space. Large, rare militaries, which are very expensive. It should go.
Fucking stop it, game.
Yeah, he's definitely sounding a lot better. He sounds. He says it's because he hasn't slept today. His voice hasn't had a chance to get off screen.
Yeah, my excuse is I haven't had to get up yet today, so therefore I'm still sounding like I've been awake all day, as opposed to that horrific you get out of bed and you feel like crap first thing.
I'm kind of taking your idea, Benicio, and just doing what I do best and turning it up to 11 for absolutely no reason whatsoever other than I like breaking games. I hate developers, and I love causing the distress.
Meanwhile, I'd like to state for the record that I'm only doing what I'm doing because I have OCD, and OCD makes people do bad things.
I don't have a lot of OCD, but yeah, there's little things that get me sometimes. Like I have a small touch of it. Like it doesn't cause me. Like there's some people that it like OCD will cause them like physical pain. Like,
and I want to make it clear, right now, before I say any more is said, Kiniso, you make amazing ship designs. Absolutely amazing. And I'm sorry that I have to do bad things to it.
Okay. Yeah, and I know that it does that, but I forget. This thing's so fidgety. I wish I didn't have to make so many cuts.
No, dude, I love the ship. My OCD is making me frickin'. If I cut this wrong.
Yeah, I could go into exactly what it is that's doing it, and it's completely my fault because I noticed it and pointed it out.
So
because it's little things like that I just like they get and And I understand you're building the ship very organically. I have a very different approach. Uh, and every shipbuilder has their own approach, right? Like I can't be like, why don't you build ships like I do? Like if everybody built ships the way I did, then like where's the fun of that?
I'll be honest, he says that, and I'm like, I don't know if he's making a joke or if.
Well, no, like I want other people, like people's brains work different, right? Like and like what works for me and the way I build stuff doesn't necessarily work for other people. And like
No,
the
what I
way
meant what Kaniso said. Like I don't want to offend the guy. I'm trying not to offend the guy.
dude, no, please. Like I love your ship. Like I really do. Like that the what that ship has done, and all joking aside, like I know I've changed a lot on this ship, but at the same time I tried to leave the ship as much as I could your design. Right? And I love the ship. I honestly the whole point of this one here is to be kind of like this ship, but on a scale that I want, right? And instead of continuing to destroy your ship and make it more and more unusable, um, I'm going to leave it where it is, leave it what it does, because it does lift more now. Um, and I like where this ship is, and I like the aesthetics of it. But there's little things that Elcor version's kind of nice. Yeah, and mine's gonna be a medium core. Like I was debating on whether to do large or medium core, and I went with medium just because I think I can put more lifting power into that and have do what I want and not have to burn 1,000, you know, work cores every time I go someplace.
Yeah. But I want to be clear. The only edit I'm making is I'm at the level of OCD. Everything must be centered, so I have to move it over. I am sorry.
Yeah, so there's some. I don't want to get into it, and if you have any OCD at all, and you have the flatbed, uh, just leave it alone. Just fly it, be happy. It's a beautiful ship, and I love it. Like as soon as I saw that ship, I was like, I have to have one. It's beautiful, and then I immediately took it apart and started adding things to it. So and please, can you don't. I don't want to be like, oh, your ship it needed to be fixed. I wanted to fix it because I wanted to make it do something slightly different. Like the vision I had in my brain, I had slightly different. Originally, it started out with I wanted it to be purple, and the game makes it very difficult to have purple. I figured out a way to do that, and then the front of it turned into a because the angle, because the front has 45-degree angles and the lights weren't reflecting off of it the way I needed them to make the purple hue show up. I had to change the front to be more flat surfaces instead of the angled surfaces. Actually, we can go show it over here on this. So actually, no, that's black. It won't work. Oh no, that is white. So what ends up happening is you'll see as we go in here, like some of these, like depending on where the light hits it, but this angle, like there's no the light doesn't show up on it because it's just the angle's funky. Um, So since that angle won't show up, or that light won't show up on it, I had to change it to where it was more perpendicular. It's not showing up on site. So sun messes with it. So I had to get it more vertical. And then by doing that, I didn't want to have just this like horrible angle up here, like where it just comes up in like 45-degree angle where it looked like somebody took a hacksaw to it. So that's why I went with the rounded corners, but that caused this problem trying to make this turn. And it was, oh, look, a tree. And then I moved some stuff around, and then I had extra room, and then it's just, you start messing with somebody's ship, and it's just a rabbit hole. But we have more fuel tanks now. And then I'm like, well, I've done all this work. I might as well carry more stuff. Just doesn't stop. And then pretty soon you bastardized it so much that like why am I still destroying this poor man's ship? So instead I've decided to go to build this. It's not look like the center. Why? Not centered. Sweet. But I think until there's a right decision, I mean, what kind of excess of that ship number? Oh, I'm sure I could. I just don't want to. Mr. Van Herk, how you doing this morning? Why didn't... Check some. Yeah, why didn't that work?
Oh, did the shout out not work?
It did for Kineso, but it didn't for Ben Hur. I think I may have made it mad because oh, it's shut down.
Oh. That's probably not good.
Well, I think when I restarted my modem, it made it angry, and I may have closed it by accident. Right, that's it. Yeah, because it should have given me a shout out when I shouted out Van Hurt. Because it's weird. Well, I just restarted it too. It's weird when I'm on the same team that I'm on, so it shouts me out when I'm on my team. But yeah, guys. So do you think we should have 6 XL space engines, Pete, or 4?
no. I've managed to cut this wrong. And I don't know how. Because I've managed to lose voxels.
That's not optimal.
No.
Because the issue is if I do that, I can add one to each side of those, and it'll be off. So, all right, there it goes. Continue needs this. Yeah, and I'm trying to do something to kind of set myself up so I can walk around inside the ship, not fall like that.
Alright, now I just have to shift the left half of the ship over so I can then shift the right half of the ship over. And by that I mean the elements. Now the real question is, does it shout out Kineso as well? Or does it crash? Because if it crashes, then somebody has some debugging to do, and that somebody is me.
Well, it should be fine. I think what happened was it got mad.
Yeah. This is software I've written. Like, I'm not the greatest programmer. But like, sometimes it takes one or two iterations of a feature before it goes to actually decide to work.
Yeah, I think that's still there. Interior up to the buyers, what's the top of it? Good for like floaters.
$36. What do you mean it's colliding? Oh, I probably gotta move something else still.
I collided once. now. Now it's awesome. Let's see. I made an excess core to Smith for exchange, but now it hits me. And if I do that, I gotta clean up my base and place dispensers. Few creators, it seems like short for something like that. Yeah. Well, Van Herk, even if it doesn't make the cut, I'll come visit it. I will definitely come visit. I'm really just trying to build a good ship so that I can sell it and make some of that fat money like all you guys make. Because I tried making parts, but they're not selling that well. Okay, how you doing this morning? Maybe just put a sun. Like, a lot of people have do you creators? A lot of people have done that where they don't even have stuff. They're like just here's my Discord information. If you want something, then just come contact me. Creator post, but not good at it. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, the problem with DU creators now too is that there's just so much there's so much old stuff that no longer works that it's hard to find what's still actually there. Like it's hard to get the stuff that's
Yeah. Sadly, the Elioth exchange thing that's coming in Mercury is a missed opportunity.
I don't know. Like I agree with a lot of the the community that like they want this to be player driven, but you're and I understand like you have to make it player driven or you have to have it curated somehow because if not, you're just going to end up with a bunch of phallic symbols all over the place. Like there's got to be somebody has to maintain it, and you have to like I get that part, but at the same time, like if you want stuff to be player driven and community driven,
You know what would have been better than what they gave us? There was a conversation you and I had about a player market that was like, oh, I don't know, the market terminal, but allow you
well,
to
and
put things like blueprints and ship tokens and other things on there. You know,
yeah,
kind of like
the
D
best.
creators put in
I
game.
think the best way to do it would have been to allow us to put stuff into the market. So that's the stuff that's in your dispensers, or even if they gave us a special terminal or something, you were limited how much stuff to put in there, then you could and make it searchable, right? Because if Gotchar's Gotmart was on the create or on the market and people knew, oh, I just go here to go buy it instead, like I think I'm gonna need more white plastic. I think that might be right. Yeah. I'm maybe so is it polycarbonate that you need for plastic?
Yeah.
That's not what I want. Oh no, it's Pete Space makes the plastic the materials for. Um but instead of going up there and using all of his carbon and his silicon, going to do that so that I'm making more of that stuff. I'm going to take a bunch of polycarbonate out of my bead, take it up there, and then that way I use my own gain resources, and I'm just using each time. I'm taking like I'm taking like 100 or 90,000 polycarbonate up there. How much white plastic can I get for that? Oh, actually, the stuff I'm low on is like I'm going to end up having to break down and go to the market and find a shit ton of iron or hematite. That's where my problems lie right now. 4,000. Edit that. That's why I use Excel.
Whatever you do, Plum, do not look in the direction of where I
Oh,
am. Do not show this on stream. I think seeing it like this would hurt Kineso too much.
oh no, he said we can't offend him. He said it wasn't possible.
Oh, I'm not worried about offending him. I'm worried about making him upset. Like,
And now he wants to see it.
okay, so he's also a sadist. Or a masochist. Either way, one of them.
Yeah, the sadist is the person that likes to be hurt. Masochist, no. I don't know.
I get him confused. I still gotta move this across. End that up there. I'll just swap that the other side. But so it was
So now the question is, where do I put polycarbonate at?
left side. Look at the top. Boxes are labeled.
Oh, well, I can't put it that much in there. It's not.
Well, no, it's designed for, you know, the running requirements, not everything under the sun.
Hip said I haven't cried in years. Bad at bad. I wish I could see that. There's been a lot of sadness in my life. All right, we're gonna go here. Look at it. I think what it is mostly the ship. The ship is offset inside the build box to one side, and there's some number disparages that cause it to be kind of off-centered, and even off-centered in and amongst itself. It's kind of nice.
Yeah,
so what?
I've pulled the left half across, which you can see the little cube is the marker, and I'm in the middle of shifting all the elements over on one side, so I can pull the other ones across, and then move the other voxels over, and then put everything back.
Yeah, so he's not as bad as I'm doing, where I've added.
No, I'm keeping it basically the same. I'm just centering it because I can't. One, two, nope, wrong direction.
And then I've gotten to a point of where I've done bad things to it, to the point where I'm like, I'm starting to realize that trying to make the ship do what I'm trying to make it do isn't going to be. I'm hitting a point of diminishing returns now, where like I'm trying to bastardize your stuff so much that it's almost starting to not function for me correctly. and I'm starting to do a lot more harm than I'm doing good in my eyes. Because at that point I'm starting to and it's like I said, it's just and like I said, the design was fine and it was gorgeous when I first saw it. I love that ship. It's just I went down the rabbit hole of trying to put purple on it, and then trying to work against the systems that are in the game to get a purple hue to it, and then it just deep rabbit hole. Yeah, at some point I may need you to come over and boost it. I was gonna try to bring it to you while you were streaming yesterday, and I got squirrel.
Oh, for God's sake, game, stop doing that.
And then so. Well, I'm on the other side of the planet, dude. Like it's out of your way. It's way out of your way to come over here. Because I believe you have to come here, like physically be here in order to boost things. We play a flying game. I know, but it's a lot of fuel, and unfortunately, I spent all my money on engines yesterday, so I don't have a lot of tip money. I could sell you a bunch of parts and then so I'm having this weird problem. I don't understand why. It is weird. I'm sure it's something I've done. That is a weird looking pillar race going on over there. And I know it's something to do with me doing weird stuff to my system. So I have these front engines, right? So I've got them like twisted 2 notches so that they'll basically clear these back pods and I can get full force out of them. But when I'm in normal travel mode, they won't fire. As soon as I go into cruise mode, they'll fire up. So if I'm in maintaining speed, they'll fire. But if I'm like trying to just accelerate, they won't turn on.
Yeah, that's right. I need to move these over. That would be...
So like right now, even though I gotta figure out how to. So like if I turn these on, right, you see all the engines fire up, except for the ones that are angled. Well, I understand if I straighten them back out, they won't. But if I go Alt R in cruise mode, they turn on. So I was trying to, and honestly, what I was trying to do is, and I'm not sure if it's a good idea at all, but instead of having them pointing down, I was going to take them, straighten them back out, and then point them slightly like they're going outwards. So instead of pointing this way, I'm gonna have them point that way. So basically, you just turn them and then like have this motor here pointed like there. But the problem with that is, and this is where I set Pete on his path. So if you're OCD, I recommend looking away now. So in order to do that, I needed to wipe this pod, right? The problem is this pod is against the edge of the edge of the build box. So once I get the motors, everything in there, that's the complete edge of the build box. This one, not so much. Oh, I was like, ah! And Pete's like, what? And I told him, and he's like, what? And then he went and looked at his, and then his brain freaking went, and he had to start cutting his shit down. And the boxes that are on here are temporary. So the reason these boxes are on here is because I don't know if I'm doing something wrong, if they change something, whatnot. But putting cargo boxes on here and docking the ships to them and then putting stuff in them, the numbers weren't updating correctly. So since the numbers weren't updating correctly, it was causing real trouble trying to figure out and get this thing to lift. I'm hoping to build this one with pretty much just basic stuff and not do anything too crazy with it. You have my you're probably tracking me. And then, like I said, if you guys are looking for data elements, the factory is building them. I'm starting to run low on iron. I do have a lot of stuff backed up and stocked because I'm trying to stock like 2,000 of everything for at least data elements. I am building some storage pods or containers. Containers are expensive though. Just to be completely fair, like containers are they're spendy. Especially when you start getting into the Excel ones, and if you're and I'm not making optimized ones, I'm making basic ones. So I'm just making containers. Just because I haven't gotten into optimized stuff yet, and I'm kind of like, I know some people requested some tier 3 stuff from us, but I'm kind of at a point right now where the factory kind of needs to be rebuilt to get it to work better, and to be, kind of take the lessons that I've learned in building this factory and basically apply them so that I can build it better. But in order for me to do that, I need to basically strip the factory out and rebuild it. So what I may do is kind of go on a search and see if I can find a good factory building, or I may just have to build my own factory building. And please, like, nothing against like any of the creators. Like, there's some amazing ships in the game, but it's hard, especially when I have enough time on my hands, that I can learn the building system. I can learn how to put boxes together, and as long as I can get something in my head as to what I want to build, I'll get more and more adventurous to the point of where I break something, um, because that's just the way I work. So I'll start, looking at stuff and building things. But the problem is like even with Kinesis ship, I've done so many changes to it that I would want to be able to make a copy of that ship for myself. And don't get me, I know Kineso would come over here, he would rip me a blueprint, give it to me, and like Kineso's great. If you want ships, he's great at selling stuff and doing things and helping people out. But when you put that much work into it, like I could never sell Kineso's ship. Like it's not mine, right? Like I didn't put the work in to build it. And like even though I've changed all this stuff and now the ship's completely different and stuff, it's still his ship and it was still his design. The new one is roughly inspired by Kineso's ship. I've kind of taken my personal flair and did things that I wanted to do with it. Like I don't know. I don't like I don't like flat surfaces on like ships, and that's just a personal. Yeah, and I know, and I'm completely fine with it being off-centered like that. It's just an OCD thing. It's and that's all it is. It's an OCD thing. The But yeah, the ship will fly. It will work. It functions. It does everything fine. It's just I was running into a problem with that specific ship that I needed to whiten the pot. Right. So by the time I spent all the work to move the ship over so that I had more room on that side so I could whiten the pod to do what I was trying to do, it wasn't going to work. If that makes sense. I can go back and show you why my specific, and it's the ship works fine. The ship is great out of the box. The way Kineso gives it to you, the ship works great. It's just I can't leave stuff alone, and that's the problem I run into games over and over and over again. Is I can't leave stuff well enough alone. I break things. That's what I do. I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do this thing. Don't get me wrong. I love this game. This is the best game. Like, honestly, this is seriously in its buggy, messed up state that it's in right now, eating all of my RAM, freaking the lag spikes and the server being weird, and like every problem that people are complaining about. Even with every problem, I love this game. I'm happy with it. I am good with where it is right now. Like I would love to, do the normal YouTube, oh, this is the worst game ever. Like how dare, like, okay, well, first of all, if you're in here for somebody to crap on somebody's game, you are in the wrong place. I do not crap on people's work. I don't. My mom always told me that if you don't have anything nice to say, you don't say anything at all. So I usually try to find something, nice to say. If I really can't find anything nice to say about your stuff, I'm not going to shit on your work. I won't do it. Not unless you specifically like beg me. Like if you're asking for constructive criticism, I will give you that. Like I will say, hey, these are the problems I have with it. This is what I have, my issue with it. And so please, like, don't take this as me crapping on Kineso's ship. Like Kineso's ship is amazing. Like the fact that it's honestly probably like I have okay, I have an Inquisitor. I have an Inquisitor sitting here. Okay, that honestly was pretty much my favorite ship. That I had in the game. I have Drax ship up here. So I have an Oracle by Drax, which is a gorgeous ship. Like it is just amazingly beautiful, right? And I haven't touched like the Oracle or the Inquisitor. I went through and did some changed the lights and did some other stuff. But like I have no idea to even where like neither one of these was close enough to what I wanted for me to start trying to rip it apart and try to add stuff, right? I have a Rebellion. I flew the Rebellion for a while until I kind of outgrew it. I have Serapus's warp shuttle, and even with Serapus's warp shuttle, I added stuff to the sides of it, put like a bumper, voxel bumper around the outside of it, tried to move some stuff around on it. I've changed it so that there's purple on it now instead of I think it was blue or something when it started. It's like white or gray or something. So like I have this guy over here, which is the Orca, and I'm still working on the Orca on and off. But I've broken the Orca so badly that the only way for me to recover that may be to start back over. I did like horribly bad things to it, and I've learned my lesson with that one. So some of it's a learning process. So some of this stuff is literally a. So when we started playing, there may be a wipe, there may not be a wipe. We don't know. We're still in that position. So me and Pete made the decision to basically do this for science. And to basically learn the game, right? And I listen a lot. I watch a lot of streamers. I watch a lot of videos. Serapis, Kamiso, Drax, Dank Knight, Philip, Gachar, like all these guys that are streaming this game right now that are all putting stuff out, that are all like I listen, and that's what I do. I sit back, I listen, I learn, I try to figure out what tools I have in the game that allow me to do what I'm trying to do, and then I try to figure out what I can do to this poor game to make it just bend to my will and do horribly bad things that I'm not supposed to do. So we decided that since the servers may be getting reset anyway, we should use this time to learn. And one of the streamers said, hey, if you have voxel building skills, you have blue building skills, if you have like learn how to build an industry, if you have the skills of learning how to do things inside of the game, that stuff goes with you. Like they can't take that away. Like they can change the way the voxels are done or something, but I still have the basic understanding that I have how to use the voxel builders. So if I can build stuff, right? And this one, I'm actually going to build it. It's going to be a medium core, but I'm going to build it with all basic engines. They're going to be large and extra large basic engines, but I'm building it with all basic engines. And the reason I'm doing that is because that way I'll have it built with all basic engines, and then once I get done, then I can rip the basic engines out and put in better ones for myself, and then I can make one with that too. But that will actually give me a starting point of the cheapest ship I can build that does this. Anyway, so if you go to this guy here, right, and I take these engines out, and I right now the engine on the side is pointing straight at you, right, and the ones here are actually angled like this, right, so they're pointing down, right, and it's easier to see, right. So if I go over here to the side, you see that like this one's pointed straight back, and there's nothing behind it, so that pod's actually out of its way. So this one's not obstructed. And these, I have them pointing down so that they basically miss the ship, right? And I had to give these 2 clicks down because if not, they caught that bottom one. And you can only do it at like 12.5 degrees or something. I don't know how many degrees it is. Or 22.5 or something. So these are like probably at a 45 degree angle now. Not really. It's like not really a 45, maybe like a 30 or something. So maybe like 15 degrees or something. But anyway, that down, once I get into the ship and I try to accelerate, these 4 engines in the center don't turn on. So there's 4 on this side. So there's 8 engines that I'm not using for atmospheric thrust because they're not on, right? If I turn on cruise mode, then they'll kick on. But I looked at the tags on them. Like, I'm not seeing, right? Because I was looking for a VTOL tag, set engine tags, right? So it's fuel, all longitudinal, analog, not ground, thrust, right? Because if you, do I have an engine on? Because if I do this, right? So if I do that, man, yeah, see how that one has vertical on it? So, not ground, vertical, thrust, atmospheric engine, right? So, because I was looking for that on these. So, and it says not ground, thrust, atmospheric, analog, longitude. It doesn't say vertical on it. I still need to adjust. So, but the problem is so this is fueled all longitudinal, analog, not ground, thrust, atmospheric engine, right? Right. And if I go to the one right next to it, fuel all longitudinal, analog, not ground, thrust, atmospheric engine, right? It's the same tags, unless I'm just blind and missing one. I can't copy them out, so yeah, it's the same tag. VTOL script here. Yeah, but I'm not trying to make it a VTOL. I'm not trying to make it a VTOL. I'm trying to get the engines to not be a VTOL. If that makes sense. Like, yeah, I have a VTOL ship. Like, I have Serapus's. I may have busted it. Yeah, I may have crashed into a mountain. Dang it, I need to fix that in a minute. Well, I have his VTOL. It's a little worse for the rare right now. I may have crashed into a mountain on the way home yesterday. Oh, I need to get these missions. Bad things to this thing. And what does the enable torque thing do? It's element, right? Do you need build?
I'm pretty sure it's build construct he needs. Because yeah, was doing some experimenting of my own. RDMS needs some examples in the knowledge base of common things people want to do, and here's the definitions you need.
Try that.
I swear that was English.
All right, see if that does it.
Yes, but not for a while. Pretty much all the engines aren't in this at the moment.
Yeah. Well, as long as you don't remove the engine, if you just slide them around, they're okay. It's when you remove them.
Oh no, they're gone. They're gone. I didn't want to have to deal with the pods, so I just emptied them.
Yeah, so well, yeah. Now, so my max thrust is now 1.08 Gs. Yeah, so even my low altitude lift, I'm almost up to 2 Gs now. So it does boost the vertical boosters. My high altitude didn't go up a lot. My brake force went up a bit. It may be better now. Yeah, and then I got 7% on those, but I'm pulling those off. Okay. Yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. The trick is now, like I said, it's trying to get those engines to work, and unfortunately, in order for me to do it, I have to turn all 3 of those engines sideways, and then it just by turning them sideways, it's almost like trying to stick like 3.5 or 4 engines in there, and I don't have enough room to do it. So the other option was to try to turn a couple of them sideways, and then try to I don't know. I don't know what the best answer is. So the one I come up with was to do this. Like I said, it's just weird, and like they work sometimes, they don't work other times. Like I don't know what I've done, because it's something I've done. Like it has to be like, even though I've put the engines in there and I just did default. Maybe there's a tag I can add to them that says to do that, and then the ultimate other purpose too is in the back I have 4 freight engines. So what my ultimate goal with them is to, once I get up to like AGG height, I'm gonna turn all the engines off except for the 4 freight engines, and then I'm gonna use them to putter around. Yeah. So, but the problem is, uh, I don't 1K. I don't know what to. What do you want to be called? But the problem is the when I turn them right, so I have a box that's this big, right? And if I turn them at outside like this, they start sticking outside of the box. So I need to widen that box. But if I widen the box, on one side, I run out of the build box. If that makes sense, because the one side of it's right on the edge of the build box. So I would have to cut down from 3 inches to 2 to get them to stay inside the box. So it's 6 of one thing, half a dozen of another. There's like if you could easily take the pod and just rotate the entire pod like 45 degrees or 22 degrees or whatever, then that would work. Like, but I don't know how to do that without having to completely rebuild the pod. And nothing, nothing against Kineso. And like, so the issue with that is in order for me to do that for myself, to build it, to do what I want to do, I would need Kineso to release the DRM on that ship, because I would want to be able to pull stuff out of it. I'm not going to ask Kineso to release the DRM on the ship. Mostly, well, first of all, he would say no, because I would say no. It's really hard for me to ask Kineso to do things that I don't think I would do. Because it's a protection for him, because he built the ship and he sells them. And if I started pulling the parts off there and selling his ship, then that's a dick move on me. But it's his ship, it's his DRM. Why would he release it? That makes no sense, right? Like it would be different, like if like me and Kineso were mates from back in middle school, and we've known each other for hundreds of years, and he trusted me and stuff like that. Sure. Kineso doesn't know me. I'm some weird bald guy with a beard sitting on freaking Twitch. Like, and then not only that, the DRM Kineso. Because if I'm going to build that many parts inside of it, I'd want to be able to copy the parts out of it. Because it's just this whole hypothetical freaking train that my line went on, right? And to try to start doing that, it's too much. Like, and you're a shipbuilder, and I respect you for the stuff that you do, and like I respect enough to not be like, oh hey, could you do this, because I won't do anything bad with it. You can trust me. I'm a streamer. Well, and then the other side of it too is then if something happened in some way, like Kineso's ship did get out, right? And then he's always going to wonder if I released it, right? I don't want that on my shoulders. Oh, I did. Oh, dang it. Okay. So I don't want that responsibility. And then the pods are what I was going to pull off. Which is basically the heart of your ship, the heart of your design. So I just made my own pods with beard hookers. So my angles are different, because I'm positive the way I made them is different. But the reason I did it is because I built the spheres to cap off the corners, And when I built my spheres, they were slightly larger angled than yours. Um, so when I did that, my arcs are a slightly different angle. So like if you like looking at it, you probably can't tell. But if I stuck it like right next to it, it'd be like, yeah, that's weird. It's just a little bit off. Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Yeah. So mine are not wedges, triangles, and mine are actual. So which is why they weren't aligning correctly. So if you look down here, like when I made the spheres to make the end caps, I did it down here. So what I did was I made a sphere, right? Made a complete sphere. That's 11 across, something like that. I don't remember. And then I cut it in half, and then I scooped the inside of it out, and then I cut it in half, and then I cut it in half, and that's how I ended up with that thing, right? And then when I decided I wanted to make I wanted to make the arc, I basically just took a piece off the end of it, like the last little arc here, and then just basically copied a bunch of those together. That's why if you look close, especially like on this thing, it's got this weird jaggedy weirdness on the end because the voxels are starting to go into that curve. It works. Like I'll clean it up when I get closer. It's different approaches. It basically accomplishes the same thing. I learned a long time ago, especially when it comes to programming and stuff like that, uh, that just because somebody does something differently doesn't necessarily mean it's wrong. Um, it's just how my brain works to allow me to do what I need to do. Oh, what did you fly over here in anyway? Did you already leave? Well, the problem is I got too much crap laying around in my yard. I don't know where the new ship has showed up. And speaking of random crap in my yard, oh, you actually used the landing pad. It's amazing. Like I built those, and then I never. Oh, that's cool, man. I do. I do. I'm not going to say that I'm stealing this cockpit idea, but I probably will do something similar. I do want to take this. I like this bottom cockpit idea. I'm probably going to inspired. No, because if I fly it, I will crash it, and then I'll want one. Yeah, what? 8 smalls in it? No, 6 smalls in it. Right? Yeah, I have no extra small for me. So it's just like a little shuttle runner, just a little bit, huh?
So for context for what I just said in chat, last time I was in Kineso's stream, the moment I got in, there was a poll created for legs or no legs. And having no context, I just went, what?
Yeah.
It was a great time.
Apple legs. Apple Lieutenant Dan's legs. I put landing gear here on here too. This has landing gear now too. I don't know. I just I have a problem with ships that don't have landing gears. So a lot of these little ships that are just dotted about, um, like the protoflies, I could probably get like go this thing. And Kaniso, if you want this thing, man, let me know. I it's a cool ship, but like what I'd want to do with it, like I don't know if it would work. It was a tri-scanner. It is DRM. It's DRM by Damp House Industries. I found the original ship. It's like a D16 or something, made by Damp House, and it was a tri-scanner. It's a cool looking ship. I really like the yeah. Um, yeah, Damp House, and he still sells this ship. It's but it's a tri-scanner. So if you go to Damp House Industries, you can actually you can see it, and it's a cool looking ship. Like they've done really good work with it. I can't bring myself to destroy it. I can't bring myself to take that ship apart. It is too pretty. And it is a nice looking ship. But I'd want oh no. I'd want some sort of cargo in it, and like I would just destroy it. Like that's what would happen. If you do need to carry it over there, the garbage barge can carry it, because that's how I got it here. It would take me a week to get it over there, but and honestly, probably what I would do is load it on there, fly your direction, and then start looking for stuff to find on the way back. Oh, devlog. I always like doing devlogs live on stream. Devlog Mercury Lua API roadmap. Oh, this could be fun. See, hello Novians, this is InQ. We go. Whether you're piloting Lua, handling cargo on a scripted VTOL platform, controlling a factory with screens and programming boards, or simply enjoying endgame arcade machine, Lua can impact almost every aspect of the experience in Dual Universe. After many years of accumulating Lua updates and additions, it's time to revamp the Lua Dual Universe entirely. Our objective is to enhance the future. This is the forum post there. Going to test the script to enjoy the everyday game. Why revamp Lua API? We must rework the Lua API to prepare for future extensions by organizing it better, making it easier to use, and enhancing the tools available for Lua creators. From a global point of view, the vision we have for Lua has evolved, and though we're preparing detailed changes on our forum, here are some highlights. Restriction of the entire Lua API, preparing for an object-oriented approach to be ready for future evolutions, reduce JSON use in the API, favor use of real Lua tables, rely Relay much more on event-driven code to reduce player loops and server requests. Reduce the complexity of the script, thereby reducing their size. Add some nice-to-have features. Garner more interest in certain elements, like the telemeter. What's changing the API revamp? With many of the changes coming to API, we wanted to give you some of the highlights. While I said above, we're giving you the specifics in another communication. For now, I want to disclose some of the significant changes in this dev log. New naming convention. We need to apply a clean naming convention with this revamp to make Lua easier to use. This will become even more necessary as we expand Lua in the future. Well, expanding Lua is not necessarily a bad thing. Yeah, so what they said, nice, just like level 5 boost. They said that the when the Lua change was going to come out, it was going to break everything. Instead of, but they're supposed to run like both Luas for a little while to give people a chance to move things over. Multiple functions have been renamed, and most importantly, events will receive a name change. Any event will have a prefix on it from now on. For example, unit on start, unit on stop, system on update, system on flush, unit on time, string tag. And changing names and stuff, well, that breaks everything. But the problem is that if you go in and you know what it was named and what the new name is, you can usually do a find replace, right? That should make it a little bit easier. 2 new permanent slots added. As part of the API restructuring, we have decided to add 2 new permanent slots. Player, this will represent the player using the script, usually referred to as the master player in the current control unit or system API. Construct, this will represent the construct. Script is placed. Okay. Each of these slots will have the associated functions and events. And then string name turns a bunch of gobbledygook that you only understand if you're a programmer. The above are just a few samples. You can find more in the codex. More item API containers in industry. Okay, so in addition to the mining API, we also added an item API to the game. Great interest in happy function in the community, allowing players to get more detailed information on such IDs as a result. Item get ID, item get weapon get ammo. Oh, so you can get whether an engine is fueled. That started, completed. Okay. Change to the container API, reducing the contents of the container is one of the most widely used features. Has always been a problem. Like current implementation allows players to make 10 requests as quickly as they would like, followed by a wait time of 5 minutes. This has caused spikes in server requests on our end and have been impractical for players. We will change this behavior to allow you to make a content request with a fixed minimum delay of 30 seconds between 2 requests made by the update content method. As before, receiving content from the server triggers the content update event, allowing you to get contents and get content function. We also made the update content. So basically, what was happening is you could do like 10 requests in like 10 minutes, right? But people would do 10 requests in like 10 seconds. So it would spike the server. And if you go into someplace large where you're getting a lot of data really fast, it can cause problems. So they're basically saying, okay, we can request data, but you have to wait 30 seconds now between requests, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It makes you write better, right? A simple but often requested function, a mouse click for Lua. Oh, okay. Left click named left mouse has been added to Lua action, triggering an on action start, action stop, or action loop event. For design and security reasons, Lua will only detect the left mouse clicks when not used by the game. So if you click on widget or other, it won't detect it. We decided to make the lights flash. In the past, we had a possibility of making light elements glow with color components set to higher than 255. However, this caused graphical issues, and we had to remove the feature. We are reintroducing the feature with Mercury by limiting it to a maximum factor of 5. At the same time, changing the color format from 0 to 255 to 0 to 1 and 0 to 5. HDR colors work. Okay, so maybe it's just you have your RGB numbers, and at the end you have 0 to 5 to boost the thing. We will convert the color property of all existing light elements to point of the game. Many other changes will, in addition, including the revamp. There are so many that I have to practically cover them in the general devlog. Hope this is small selection will inspire you in creative spirits. Will all my scripts be broken? Although we consider this revamp necessary, we still want to give you time to transition and adapt your systems to allow your script to continue using it during your transition. To simplify the transition, we will depreciate all the current API from Mercury, which means that the current functions and events will remain functional for a time, but will not be referenced in the codex anymore, nor visible in the UI events. You will then receive a warning when using a depreciated function or event for the first time. Depreciation will be a time limit. The goal is to remove all the old API in the game's launch, although other factors will need to release a new API version. Default flight. Okay, so basically, it's going to say, hey, you're using an old script. You might want to fix that. How can I check the upcoming API? Given the extent of the changes, I have chosen to not list them all in the devlog. List of changes is very long. The goal is to try to post detailed forum thread with all changes that have published in the mock API and official GitHub to allow you to prepare yourself when possible. Conclusion. We hope you're excited as player creators. A few changes mentioned, especially the opportunities to enjoy the passions. We'll create a dual universe ramp polished game. I thought it said like, I know it says revamp. Okay. That's cool. That's probably some good information for our newer writers. So yeah. So like I said, and I've said this before in the stream, and I'll say it again. And if you're watching this after on YouTube, I don't try to hide my biases, right? My biases are my personal biases towards the game. At the moment, Dual Universe checks so many boxes for me. This is a game that I've wanted forever. I wanted this game to be Space Engineers. I wanted this game to be Orion be in this game. I wanted No Man's Sky to be this. And we've been promised over and over and over that games that were coming out were going to do things that this game does. Now, does this game do everything that I want it to do? No, I always want more. Do I wish I could have belts and stuff running through my factory with little items moving on them? And sure, that'd be great, but it would also cause massive lag. Because that's what moving items around in your base does. Because that's how I break Satisfactory every time I play it. But, I like watching stuff move around in my factory. But the way this stuff works in here, it gives me some motion. I see stuff is moving. I see animations. I'm happy. I wish I could connect more stuff and do some other things, but it checks some boxes for me, right? So there's some stuff I can get really nitpicky and pull stuff apart and be like, well, you should have done this better. But the problem is a lot of that stuff causes games to lag, right? So if we actually had to have pipes and we were moving stuff through here, right? And you have to do all the checks and all the stuff like Satisfactory does for pipes and all that stuff. They get very laggy. And in an online multiplayer type game like this, it would not work. Same thing with Space Engineers, where you have to connect, have a physical connection, and it's checking to make sure you have oxygen, that you're airtight, and all this other stuff. Those checks all cause problems, and especially if you're doing it on a regular basis, to make sure that you're still airtight when you flew around for a little while. So it's, you start doing stuff like that, it starts causing more and more and more lag to the game. So I think where they're at with what they have, I'm happy with, right? The inventory system's good. Yeah, sure, we have better inventory systems. I can make massive storage boxes and Space Engineers that literally take over the entire freaking world and run a script on it that I can have the entire base stuck into one inventory box. But if I do that, it causes lag, because when I open it and it has to queue the server for every single item and every single box in a massive base that I've built, it causes lag. So I don't want to, I get it. Like, so I see some of the changes they made. I would have maybe done different things. Maybe the game wouldn't run as well. But I am happy with the way the game is, and I'm happy with what it is. And as far as I'm concerned, if No Man's Sky did industry and containers and stuff half as well as this game does, I would have played a lot more No Man's Sky. If Space Engineers ran as good as this game, I'd be playing a lot more Space. If O'Brien had like the space station ability and being able to do stuff, and the multiplayer aspects, I'd be playing O'Brien. So this game does a lot of little things very well. That is basically a game that I'm looking for. So I'm extremely happy with. Yeah, there's that. Well, Space Engineers runs as long as you don't build anything over basically an extra small core. And you're playing it by yourself on a $9,000 machine, and like it's very, very power hungry. And this game's RAM hungry. It's not very well optimized, but the devs have basically come out and said in the last Ask Ophelia that, look, we know it's not optimized. That right now the community hasn't made that our priority. They're we're requesting them to work on other things. We're not complaining about the RAM optimization. If you're upset because the RAM's not optimized and you can't play the game, I highly suggest you go onto the forums and you go complain about it. You go submit a ticket that says, I can't play this game because I don't have, the minimum specs that you put forth aren't enough to run it. Go complain about it. Go put a ticket in. Go let the devs know that it's broken. And if you do that and they get it enough stuff, then they'll be like, okay, this is a problem, and they'll work on it. But as of right now, they basically said it hasn't shown up as a problem. People aren't freaking submitting tickets about it. So we're going to work on stuff people are submitting tickets about. Which I can respect that response. That's a good response to have. Servers haven't
I've almost finished moving the whole shell.
Nice.
Then I have to put everything back. I'm so glad I set up a separate box away from all my other storage boxes. Put the pieces in, so I'd know if I'd missed something. What concerns me is I think I have extra parts.
You always have extra parts when you get done. That's the
Yeah, but that means I've missed stuff.
yeah, that might be a problem.
Just break.
You just do like the normal car mechanic thing. You just be like, oh, there was extra parts. What'd you do with them? I just do them in the carburetor.
I'm sorry, that's a thing that happens?
No, don't ever do that.
Well, obviously not, but I didn't know if that was a thing that ends up happening.
Don't ever put things in your carburetor.
Everyone figured out very quickly Peter is not a car guy.
Well, it's the old all the stuff you see on like stupid Facebook every once in a while. They're like, oh, make sure you change all the summer air out of your tires. I use the carb to regulate how much water goes in the back.
Hey, you know what would have been a smart idea now that I think about it? If I thought to take a couple of screenshots of the ship before I started.
It's on DU Creators.
Cool, because yeah, I'm probably gonna need the screenshots.
Wish I could just select it.
Ooh,
Oh, there
thank
it
you.
goes.
Full screen.
So can I, like, if I just select all this, and then can I just shift it? The problem is trying to get this thing to all. Oh, there's the problem. Should have lined it up there. One way to find out. Cheese and rice. Change points. And at some point, I'll have I'll add a bunch of lines and colors and it's big white ovals. Make this thing really hard to look. I don't know. This may or may not work. I don't know. This may look completely dumb when I get done, and it is quite possible that it.
Man, it really sucks when you go to make a joke and then you realize you muted it and no one heard it.
Uh, yeah. I can see how that could be a problem.
I don't know what I've done. I don't know where they're missing from. I've got 6 vertical boosters, 3 medium retro rocket brakes, and a small retro rocket brake that I cannot figure out where they're missing from.
That's gonna make it complicated. I don't know.
All of them there. Those ones are there.
It's low also.
There.
Oh, that was just low one. Oh, okay.
Are they on the bottom of the pods, maybe? No, because I've got 6 of them, not 8 of them, so why would they be on the bottom of the pod? Did you modify the underside of your one at all?
The underside of it?
Yeah.
I don't understand what you mean by the underside.
Like, the side that's underneath.
Well, yeah, but what do you mean by I didn't really like cut anything out of it?
Yeah, but all the elements, so you changed many
No,
of
no,
the
no. I
elements.
added stuff, moved stuff around, like I did bad things.
Damn. Because, yeah, there's no photo of the underside of the, flatbed on DE Creators. Which is expected. It's not somewhere people would look, but... I wonder if by chance... if REVO... I wonder if by chance he has his own version of the ship sitting there. Nope, I guess this is a ship that gets made to order. Damn. Oh, you don't have one built? Oh well. It was... Oh, no.
That's down.
Well, I suppose what I can do is I can go look in my parts box, get some extras of each of the things I have extras of that I can't figure out where they went, and just add more of them. Just hide them in places. That'll be fine.
This whole thing is one time.
So I want to grab... What have I got?
This one, that
I've
one,
got 6
down
boosters.
one. That needs to come down.
So I want to get 2 more boosters. Grab...
This one.
I have a spare warp drive? Huh. Time plum.
I'm good today. I'm going into work an hour late today.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, doing some changes.
Plum, I'm coming to raid the flight elements box. Wait, no, I'm gonna check my VMAX first. Okay, so I've already done this. Why did the door stay up? Fix it later.
Yeah, we're skinny some. And I'll need to lower this one down. I got to lower all that. That's I do like that. Like, it takes a little bit to get used to the build. Messy spot. Like, it does take a little bit to get used to the build. Like how the game's build with it, and the tools that they give you. It takes a little bit to get to them, but I think once you start getting the handle of them, it's like anything else, right? It's a in Space Engineers, any of those games. Um, once you kind of get used to the building tools they give you, you can start doing crazier and crazier things. And that's part of it is it's just trying to figure out how to use the tools that we're given. Once you kind of figure those out, figure out in a way that makes your own brain work. Or that works in your brain, I should say. Once you figure out a way your brain can make it sense of it, because that's really the trick that people don't understand is you have to understand it in your brain, right? Like I can tell you all day long, like, oh hey, yeah, just do it this way, like this is how you do it, like this is how I made the curve. Da, 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 da. I can go off and do crazy stuff and just drastically just confuse the crap out of people. But if it doesn't make sense in your brain, and I'm not explaining it in a way that you can understand, like you won't get it, right? And that's not anything to do with you. It's just that's how our brains work, right? It is a much easier for me to go, okay, well, find out your frame of reference, find out like what makes sense for you, and for me to find a common frame of reference, and then the two of us, like, oh well, if you had a car, this is how this would work, like so if you're a mechanic and I'm trying to explain to you how a computer works, I may explain it to you in references, a reference that you understand, right? Because if you understand how a car works, or if you understand how a computer works, and I explain the other one in those terms, there's a lot better chance that you'll have of understanding it, right? Oh, this getting bad. So I need to put this on here. So that's the problem that a lot of people don't get, and a lot of people don't understand. It's like it's easy, it makes sense. Well, it makes sense and it's easy to me because I understand this stuff, and like a computer, like I work on those every day. That's easy for me to get because, like, how dare you not understand it? Like that makes no sense. But if you don't understand computers every day, like like it doesn't work for you. And I'm very fortunate in my life. I've done a lot of things and learned a lot of stuff in my life, so things can make a lot more sense. So, yay, Kaniso's back. So those should be all. here. All right, so that's one. That's one. But now go here, here. You'll see now that one's up 1, 2, 5. So I've been using that selection thing as a nobody cares. I'll care later. I've been using that selection thing to show me whether stuff is aligned correctly, right? So the same thing here, like if I choose here to here, right? So I can see that those are aligned correctly now like that. And then if I choose up here, I can see that those two, at least on those two planes, they're aligned together, right? And of course, that should mean, since they're the same size, that it should be the same over here too, right? So that way everything's aligned. This one's up one too high, so I'll go through and fix that in a little while. Because I just need to cut it, drop it down. And then I'm going to end up putting some doors in and some ways to kind of get in the things. But I don't know. What do you guys think of it so far? It's definitely different. I wanted something that was fun. It definitely looks like right now it looks a little bit sterile. It's just basically matte white plastic. I'll do some stuff to get some color into it and stuff like that. Reminds me of marshmallows. Oh, and I want it to be AGG also, so I figured painting it like this, it will just look like a cloud, and maybe somebody will run into it. Hopefully nobody runs into it. Well, they'd be sad if they hit me. I'll eventually add a lot more colors and things like that. So, and then honestly, depending on, I still haven't heard back from NQ. I think I put a ticket in asking them about giving ships away for charity money. And they still have not responded to. It would be great to have that answer. I only assume that that ticket's going up, and there's a lot of conversations being had about it to find out if it is worth. Yeah, no worries, man. They're trying to figure out what to do with it. So I get that part. But it would be nice if oh, just let me know. Let me know what's happening. It'd be great. But as for this, so far, like I'm liking where it's going. So that's gonna give me right now. That will give me 6 extra large space engines, and 12. No, there's 24 large atmospheric engines. So to give you a kind of a compare and contrast, right? So this has got 6, 12, 20 engines on it, and this one right now would have 24. So and that thing right now is carrying 10 kilotons, and it can maneuver with 10 kilotons on it. It's not happy about it. I haven't tried to take it out into space yet again. And then I still have this pod up here, but I don't know what to do with that pod yet. So because, well, if I leave it, I guess I could just leave it way the hell up there. But the idea is to kind of leave this whole area here in the middle open and flat, and I'm gonna build a platform on it, so that as things are coming in and landing on it, we can either load. Like you can just basically land another ship on top of it. It would have to be a small ship, obviously. But I can just land another ship straight on top of it, and then basically, I originally was thinking about leaving this center area open and allowing it to have like a ramp or something, so you can drive a ship up on it. But looking back, I think I'm gonna need more power. And then I'll figure out. I think what I may do is I'll just run it with it like it is. See if we have enough power to be able to do what we need to do with it the way it is. And then once we have that figured out, then and honestly, I still plan on using Kaniso's pods. There's no sense in reinventing that with basically use his pods to be able to just drop his pod on there. But I'm hoping to get. I would like to be able to get 3, if not, at least 3 loaded pods on this ship and have it freaking work. We'll see how that works out for me. But that's kind of the goal, is to have 3 loaded pods I can place on this ship and get it to work. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and leave a little bit early. Well, a little bit late, a little bit early, because we're over. If I start going down any more rabbit holes, I'm gonna get lost. It's gonna happen a lot. It does. Anybody else up and streaming? Somebody is. She's up, but speaks the German. You're only doing French, and yeah, you're doing German. And Kaniso is up, or getting ready to start. You know what? We're with Kaniso. That's fine. I'll have to go see some of his awesome ships. If y'all don't know, Kaniso was in earlier. He built the original flatbed AG, which is kind of what I'm doing for this one. Kind of taking this thing to some ridiculous, like, marshmallow level. But I should call it the Stay Puft Marshmallow flatbed. Probably get shut down. But anyway, please go hang out with Kaniso. Go tell him I said hi, and let him know that he's doing good stuff. And all joking aside, Kaniso builds amazing ships. Please go check them out. All right, we'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye. See if I can actually shut this thing off.